Good morning, everybody. Broadcasting live from Morelia, Mexico. I'm Bill the Geek. This is the Bill Dallas Lewis channel, and we make videos about the joys of living in Mexico. And every Saturday, we get together and share the wonders and joys of living here. We visit pueblos, cities, states, towns. We have a good time. We talk about immigration. We talk about the value of the peso and living a good life, being free. It's so much fun that we have people that are joining us this morning from Canada, the United States, Panama. We got people all over the place in the house this morning. Dr. John was here early. Dr. John was one of our first subscribers, and he's moving from New Jersey to Pennsylvania to be closest to his family. So he won't be joining us this morning, but he left a message about 45 minutes ago. We got Rockport Conch in the house, wants to see some pueblos magicos. That's what magic cities, and we got some magic cities. I've been on the road this week. We got the famous Ms. Sam, my neighbor, in the house this morning. Even Char Williams has shown. Don Cole, even Don Cole slipped in. She's in Florida. We got Jamie in Canada showing up. My neighbor David is in the house. Yes, it is a beautiful day here in Morelia. It's a beautiful day here in Morelia this morning. We're very fortunate. We have electricity. We have both computers working, both cameras working. Internet is good. We're running at about 400 meg. And look who's here. Dominique is in the house. Dave James. She thinks, so she speaks in Charlotte. I bet you sweating in Charlotte. I bet you have the air conditioner turned on. It's funny. Temple Moore, the one, the only. Temple Moore is in the house. Woo-hoo! Lenora Wilson is in the house. And look who is here, none other than pretty boy Brian Maiden is in the house saying hello to everyone, and even Michelle and Verlaine and the infamous Liston Henry is in the house, and Eric Nickerson. Hello, everybody. Happy Saturday, and hello to each and every one of you today. It was a very challenging week. Okay. I got on the road. I got a whole bunch of video clips. I went to a couple of places. I've got images of artifacts and historical sites. Artifacts and historical sites. I'm going to tell you about how I got to these places, how much it costs to get me to the places, what it was like to be on the road again. All of that is coming up shortly. If I wanted to, I've got about 30 video clips to share with you. It was fabulous, but it was a strenuous week. I had to plan this trip, get all my facts together. Where am I going? What do I want to see? And with all of that going on, we also had the Democratic National Convention being broadcast live Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night. And it's my time. It started at 4:00 every day. And I told myself every day, I'm not watching this whole thing. I'm not watching this whole thing tonight. But every night I started at 4, and I ended up watching each and every night till the end. It was great. Just a group of people filled with love, joy, and hope. Just like here in our group on the Bill Dallas Lewis channel. And we're all about love and joy. We got HB in the house. And Bill, did you see any of that flooding in Ajijic last week? No. That's too bad. That's a good reason for me not to live there anymore. Okay, so let me look at my notes here. The people, again, for those of you that don't know, I live in Morelia. This is my second month here on, September 2nd. That will make September 2nd will make 2 full months here, something like that. Yeah, 2 full months here. So I'm just meeting my neighbors, and the people here in Morelia, they're a little, I'm going to say they're a little standoffish, but these people are warming up to me. I take my walk. I take my walk. It is a 7-kilometer walk. That's about 4.5 miles. I go up the hill, down the hill, up the hill, down the hill. And I see people regularly going up the hill and down the hill. And I see this one lady every morning. She has 3 dogs, and she walks around the neighborhood. She walks up these steep hills. And if she doesn't walk her dogs, her mother walks her dogs. Her mother's got to be like 85, and her mother is fit and trim and friendly. And so one day this week, the young lady, I guess it's the daughter, she just stopped me and just started talking to me all in Spanish. She talked to me for about a minute. I didn't even know what she was saying, but she all of a sudden, it was like the light came. It was like the light came on that it was time to be friendly. And then the same day, another neighbor just started talking to me on the street, all in Spanish. And then there's a security guard. This is not a gated community here, but there's only one street to get into this. It's like a 30-block group of homes on a hill. And there's a security guard. And I walk by him every day, and I, we always say hello. But this time I stopped, and something told me to say, ask him what his name is. And I started talking to him. His name is, I said, what's your name? And in English, he says, my name is Alexander. I said, oh, Alejandro, oh, sí. And we started talking, and he speaks fluent English. I asked him, how is your English so good? And he said, well, I lived in Los Angeles for 28 years. And he told me about his family, has 7 kids in Los Angeles. And we had a great talk. I'm making new friends, and the people were just warming up here. It's fabulous. But anyway, let's get down to what's going on. Let's say, yes. And look who's here. Susie, La Doce Vita, Ciao Tutti. Glad to be here. Glad you can be here, Dominique. 2 months, 2 months in Morelia already. Terry Don Marshall. We got to make a phone call talk, Terry Don. I am 2 weeks away from Terry Talks Prime Time podcast launch. Yay, good for you. Buenos dias, mi amigo. Rudy Clemones. I can't say his name. It's French. We call him Rudy Clemens, and his wife, she. Okay. Now, can you talk about voting in U.S. elections while living in Mexico? Okay. I have a lot to cover today. I mean, again, if you're new here, this is not my show, it's your show. I got a bunch of information to cover today. I could just cover my information for 6 hours, but this is your show. If you're new here, you want to know something like this question that Dominique has, And if you're new here, you may not know that I've lived in Mexico for in February it'll be 20 years. I've lived in Puerto Vallarta, Guadalajara, Ajijic, Chapala, Mazatlan, and now I live here in Morelia. I don't know everything, but we have some very knowledgeable people in our group. So I like to say that this is your show. This is your show. Ask any questions, leave any comments, any concerns, and we'll get right to it. And if I don't know the answers, and I don't know the answers to a lot of things, but whatever your question or comment is, we will get to it, get with you, because this is your show. So voting, if you're an expat, if you're an American living in Mexico, what I did the last time I voted was in 2020. I voted for Joe Biden. I was living in Chapala, and I'm a registered voter in Los Angeles, actually. I'm a registered voter in Los Angeles. I wasn't sure how to vote, so I did a Google search, and I found the League of Women Voters, because the League of Women Voters are everywhere in the United States. So I contacted the League of Women Voters, and it's like somebody actually answered the phone. I said, here's my story, and I want to vote. And she walked me right through the process. She said, okay, go to this website, and you click these buttons, and then you're registered. And I had to overnight her some information. Like, I think I had to send her a copy of my passport or something like that. And I overnighted that to her. I had her phone number. She got the information. And once she got that information, then she gave me a link or something so that I could vote online. And she gave me a link to that. I voted online, and I was all good to go. And the great thing about the League of Women Voters is it doesn't matter. Every city has a League of Women Voters. Just contact them. They'll walk you through the process, and then you can cast your vote. Okay. Hey, Bill, remind me again, which bus line? I know for sure that I missed a question. Brian Maiden asked, is there an international airport in Morelia? Well, Brian, to answer that question, yes, there surely is. Morelia, with a population of 1 million people, yes, and it's called the Morelia International Airport. See, we answer questions here. That's what we do. Remind me again of which bus line I shouldn't take to get to Morelia. Oh, that's a tough one. Elite. It's called Elite, the Elite bus line. I did a video on it. Talks all about the Elite bus line, how the toilets were all flooded and smelled like you were in a cow pasture for 12, 14 hours. It was the Elite bus line. Any bus line except Elite should be good. Okay, Nancy Trevino. Good morning, Nancy. And there you go. Vote from abroad works for all 50 states. Can all be done online, registering and asking for your ballot. Thank you so much, Cali State Coach Bob. I'm going to write that down. Vote from abroad. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Elite was not so elite. Okay, so here we go. So let me look at my notes here. I don't want to miss anything. Ooh, yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. And our Facebook group is up to about 320, maybe 330 people. It's growing slowly, but it's growing every week. We're still at about 12,000 subscribers for the channel. And now I want to talk about this road trip that I took. And you were very welcome, Dominique. William Mustache Stoneman. William Mustache Stoneman is in the house. Buenos dias, senor. Cool. And he knows how to put that squiggly over the end. Packing for Puebla. And I got to visit Puebla. It's got to be only like 6 hours away from Morelia. I got to see that. But welcome and good luck on your trip and have a good time. So I hadn't planned a visiting a city trip probably in about 2.5 months. Just finding my apartment here in Morelia was a trip in itself. But I had to plan this trip, and so we have a new subscriber. His name is Marco. He's a Mexican American, lives in Chicago. And about 2 or 3 weeks ago, he gave me a list of pueblos mágicos, that's magic cities that I should visit in that are near Mexico. And it ends up that him and his family are from Morelia. So he gave me a list of like 5 cities to visit. So I decided to visit this one city. Let's see if I can find its name here. Here we go. I decided to visit this city. It's called Tzintzuntzan. Tzintzuntzan. I decided to visit this place. And it took me like 1.5 hours to get there. Tzintzuntzan. And then when I was there, I got to visit Las Yácatas. These are pyramids that were built about 1,200 years ago by a community of people from the Purépecha religion. And I've got videos of this coming up here in a second. And it was a beautiful trip. It was a day trip. And I got up really early, 5:30 in the morning, so I could get my walk in, get my meditation in, change my clothes, and get to the bus station. I took the DD taxi service to get to the bus station. Then I had to figure out how I was going to get to Tzintzuntzan. I had to figure out how to get there. So I show up at the bus station, and so I had the city. You can see the name of the city right there, Tzintzuntzan. I had this piece of paper with me at the bus station because I sure as hell didn't know how to say it. Who knows how to say that? I had to learn how to say it on the fly. And it ends up that the T is silent. It's Tzintzuntzan. So I asked the lady at the bus station, how do I get here? She says, well, there aren't any buses that go there. Well, how am I going to get there if there aren't any buses that go there? And we got a map shot here. We can show you exactly where that is. So you can see Morelia in the upper right-hand corner of the map. So she said, and this is all in Spanish. She said, what you have to do is you have to take a bus to Pátzcuaro. And my neighbor David said last week, he said, oh, you've got to visit Pátzcuaro. So you have to take a bus to Pátzcuaro. And you can see Pátzcuaro at the bottom left-hand corner of the map. And the lady at the bus station in Spanish, she tells me from there, you need to take a combi, which is a van. It's just a van with some seats in it. Combis are very popular in the Morelia area, but almost that whole area you see there on the map, they all use combis. And so you have to take a combi from Pátzcuaro to Tzintzuntzan. Okay, so that was cool. I can do that. Okay, so I get on the bus, and let's see here. Okay, so here's the bus station in Morelia. I'm gonna get on this bus, and it wasn't a fancy bus, and that's not the bus I took. I'm in the window. I'm shooting out of the window so you guys can see the bus station. And here's what the bus looks like inside. They even played a movie. It took an hour to get to my destination. 1 hour. Let's go back to the map. The lady at the bus station, she told me, okay, so it takes about an hour to get to Pátzcuaro, and I'm going to do Pátzcuaro again because they have a lot of stuff there that you will want to see. So, and she said the combi ride from Pátzcuaro to Tzintzuntzan, the combi ride, that's going to take about 30 minutes. So that's what I did. I got on the bus. An hour later, I was in Pátzcuaro, and then I had to find a combi that would take me to Tzintzuntzan. Okay. And what happened was I ended up, this taxi driver found me. This taxi driver found me. He says, where are you going? I was Tzintzuntzan. And then he taught me how to say the word. He said, I can take you. How much will it cost? He told me it would cost 250 pesos. Oh, and for what it's worth, the bus ride from Morelia to Pátzcuaro was only 70 pesos. It's like $3.50. And with my senior citizen discount card, I got half off. So that means it only cost me like $3.25. So this taxi driver, he was going to charge me like 250 pesos for the taxi ride there to Tzintzuntzan. And I talked him down to 200 pesos. That's like $10. To get back, I took a combi from Tzintzuntzan to Pátzcuaro. On my way back, it only cost me like 30 pesos. So the taxi driver, it's a taxi. So I paid $10, but on the way back, I only paid $1.50. So, but Pablo, we had a great conversation, all in Spanish, and he told me all about what I wanted to visit in Tzintzuntzan. And he told me, yeah, come back to Pátzcuaro. He taught me how to say Pátzcuaro, and what there are boat rides you can take out to an island and all that kind of stuff. But his name was Pablo. He gave me his card, and I was hesitant, or I'm just going to say I was scared. I was scared to get back on the road because I hadn't done it in so long. I forgot what it was like to be on the road. Let me move the microphone a bit here. Let me move just a couple things here so I'm not squeeching all around. I was scared before I left the apartment. I was scared to take the trip, but once I got on the bus, all of a sudden the fun and the enthusiasm of traveling in Mexico came back. And if you take a bus in Mexico, and these were all on back roads, you see a lot of farms and housing and small small littles, really small places to live. And I tell you what, when you're on the bus, every 20 seconds you see something and you think to yourself, what the F was that? What the F was that? What kind of house is that? What kind of town is that? What are those people doing? And it's all so much fun. And you just start to come alive. And yeah, your mind, what's going on here? Your mind is just asking so many questions about life and how much fun life can be. So anyway, the trip began, and let's see what's going on in comments over here. Okay, Eric Clark is in the house. First time commenter here, thinking of moving to Mexico. I'm in Chiapas exploring right now. Thanks for your shows. Eric, thanks for visiting. Thanks for commenting. I haven't been to Chiapas. I've seen many videos. I want to go there. In fact, Pablo, the taxi driver, mentioned Chiapas. I've heard it's beautiful and the weather is supposed to be lovely. And Axel Foley is in the house. Bill, what? Oh, okay. I got Axel, I got stuff to tell you about my trip to Tzintzuntzan in a second here. Eric Nickerson, hi. Bill, Morelia has some beautiful old Spanish buildings and architecture. Morelia throughout Morelia is the bomb. And Brian, welcome Eric Clark, and he's advertising for me. Everybody click that like button. So let's get with this trip. Let's start this trip off right now. So I get the taxi. I get the taxi to let me put this piece of paper up here so I don't mess this name up. So I take the taxi to Tzintzuntzan. Pablo drops me off. You're going to see it in a second. It's a small, very small town. And he tells me, I want to go to see this place here, Las Yácatas. And you're going to see them in a minute. They are pyramids. And he says, and as we're pulling into town, he says, oh yeah, you can walk right down. You can walk right down that road right there, and it'll take you to the Yácatas. It'll take you right there. Just walk down that road. And so cool. So, but the thing is, the bus just dropped me off on the street. What am I thinking about? Oh, now that's something else that's weird. When I got to Pátzcuaro, the bus didn't drop me off at a bus station. It dropped me off at a gas station. And there weren't any other buses there. So getting back and then Pablo, the taxi driver, he told me, oh yeah, the buses leave there. And this was in Pátzcuaro at a gas station. He says the buses leave out of there every 20 minutes. So I was cool with that. I was good with that. So let's get back to the trip itself. Here we go. Let's see. Okay, so I get out of the taxi. Pablo told me which way to walk. And here we go. This is in the city of Tzintzuntzan. Actually, this is a side street. And directly ahead, we'll see in a second, but these are all little shops in the mountains. Those mountains up there, that's where the pyramids are. And if I walk straight ahead, there are steps right down there, and you walk up those steps, and it takes you to the Yácatas. Here we go. So I walk up the steps, and they have a sign here, and this sign says archaeological zone in Spanish, Zona Arqueológica de Tzintzuntzan. Okay, so this was kind of weird, and you can see the pyramid up on the right behind the sign. And so I just keep walking. There's a fence, and that's the outside of the pyramid. The pyramids are a five different structures, and they were used for ceremonial services, built around somewhere between 900 and 1100 AD. So I'm walking down this road right here. Okay, there aren't any signs. Okay, there are no people walking around, and I'm thinking, and I can see the pyramids over on the right, and I'm thinking, well, how do you get in there? Can you get in there? Where am I going? And I'm just walking down there, and I'm thinking, this would be a good place to get kidnapped. I don't know. So I get to the place, and yes, at the end of that road, there were some cars down there, and they have a little entrance place and a little man in the entrance place. And I said, well, how much, cuántos pesos? How many pesos did this cost? I talk Spanish to these people all day. And he says, oh, it costs you 100 pesos to get in. But with my senior citizens discount card, that was only 50 pesos or $2.50. And then you give, I forget this guy's name, Francesco was his name. And so he said, well, come in here. We have to show you the introductory movie. And they show you an introductory movie that tells you all about the pyramids. And let me show you the sign again, the Las Yácatas. And Las Yácatas are not unique because there are about 5 or more Yácatas in the Michoacan state. And they're spread all over. So this is not the only one. So the guy shows me the movie, and then I can get inside. And it's a beautiful place. It's like a big park, very well taken care of. And all you do is you just go in and walk around, and you can see the pyramids. I didn't take my drone. I should have taken the drone. I will never leave my drone at home again, because this would have been a great place for the drone. So they have all these are like rock structures that are in front of the pyramid, and this place was used for religious services and also human sacrifices. They had many different gods. They had an air god, a water god, a fire god. And here, as I walk closer and closer and closer, this is one side. The width of that thing goes down. It's like 2 football fields, and there are like 5 separate buildings, and no one lived in the Yácatas. They were used for religious services and for human sacrifices. And the religion was the Purépecha. And this was a community, almost like the Aztecs. And the Aztecs tried to conquer them, but they never could. But in about 1522, that's when the Spanish found this place, which is, you may as well say that it is Tzintzuntzan, that the Spanish found this place, conquered it, took it over, and that was the end of the Purepecha civilization when the Spanish came. Let me show you just a few more clips. Another side view of the pyramids, the Yácatas. The Yácatas. Yes. And just traveling on the bus and just seeing new things and looking at these structures from more than 1,000 years ago. And you think about, I mean, that's a fabulous structure. Why didn't they teach me about that in elementary school? I mean, that's a very interesting structure. I never learned anything about Mexico. They didn't. I don't even think they said Mexico in my history classes in elementary school. Here's a different view of the structure from the side. Very good. And they would give you tours in English, which I didn't pay for, but I had read up on the structures. Very, very beautiful, very interesting. I surely wish I would have taken my drone on this trip. And uh-oh. I'm looking for something here. Where is it? Oh, I've lost a very important note. Okay. Whatever. Now I've gone brain dead. Whatever. And this is right, Pátzcuaro. These structures are right on a lake, and the lake is called Lake Pátzcuaro. Lake Pátzcuaro. And the city of Pátzcuaro is on the lake, as well as the city Tzintzuntzan. There you go. There you go. I guess that's what happens when you leave the apartment. Look at the map, go to the bus station, ask people, well, how do you get to these locations? And those are my photos. Those are my photos of Yácatas. However you say it. Those are my and now I have photos of the city of Tzintzuntzan, which means land of the hummingbirds. Okay, Ryan. Bill, this is now becoming my Saturday morning ritual. All the best from Toronto. We got a lot of Canada in the United States. We got Panama in the house. We got the United States in the house. And how does one get a senior discount card? Okay. So I'm writing something down here so I don't forget it. There's an organization. Mexico is really strange because laws change, laws come and go. Sometimes laws are enforced, sometimes they're not enforced. But if you go to buildthegeek.org, there you go, right there. And let me see, and let me try something here. I got to look at the site and see exactly what's going on. At the very top of the page, you'll see there are links up there. It says Mazatlan, Puerto Vallarta, FAQ, see Guadalajara. And then there's a link. It says very helpful info. And if you hover over very helpful info, there's a link to discounts for seniors. And let's see. Let's see if I can let's do this. Let's do this. Just do that. Share screen, and let's try that. Okay, so here is I think, yeah, there you go. Here is the website, very helpful info. And if you click discount for seniors in Mexico, that will take you to a video that you can click on, Save Big, Mexico Seniors Discount Card. There you go. That will get you there, right there. And that will tell you all about how to get your senior citizens discount card. And the organization that you get it through, it's an organization of the Mexican government. It's called DIF. And you can do a search for Mexico government DIF. And the card's really easy. You go to a DIF office, you fill out some forms. You may be able to get the card the same day. You may have to come back the next day, but you take in like your passport. You might have to take in like some kind of bill, like a phone bill, electricity bill, something like that. And then you get your card. Now, I've like some people in Ajijic have told me that, well, you can't get the card there anywhere. I got mine in Chapala. Other people contact me and say, oh, well, I just got the card this week. So it depends on where you live in Mexico. It depends on where you live in Mexico and what time of year it is, because rules change all the time. Okay, now, and we have Cali State job coach. Buy yourself a nice coffee or two this week. Thank you, Cali State, for contributing to the channel so I can take more trips like this and share the joys of living in Mexico. Thank you so much for contributing to the channel today. Stephen, hi, Bill. Should I use the Mexico post office to mail back my voting ballot? Okay. That is an excellent question. That is an excellent question. I was friends with one Mexican person for 8 years. They were born and raised in Mexico. They had lived in Mexico their entire life. And one time they told me, and this person was about 60, 62 years old. And this person told me that they had never used the Mexico Postal Service ever. And I would say, when you use them, I would never send anything through the Mexico Postal Service. Examples. When the United States gave out that COVID money and everybody in the United States got like $1,000 or something like that, I got a letter from the government like in May. I got a letter. At that time, it was signed by Donald Trump. And it said, here's your $1,000. Maybe it was $1,200. I forget. Here's your money. Hey, vote for me. Okay. So I got the letter, but there was no check. Okay. And I got this letter. I think I got it in January. And then 9 months later, I got the check. So I got the letter. I don't know. It took a month for the letter to get there. It took 8-9 months. I had a cousin that was getting married. They were getting married in July. They sent me an invitation for their July wedding. And I got it. It was a July wedding. I got the invitation in September. Okay. I mean, no. And it's like, It's like I pay taxes every year. So every year for taxes, I use DHL or Federal Express, and I overnight my tax form to the IRS address. Anything important, anything if I can't email it, if I have to send it, I use DHL or Federal Express. I would, my voting ballot. When I'd send my stuff to the League of Voters in California, I sent it overnight. I'd ask the lady, what address do I send it to? What's the phone number? So anything important, never anything unimportant. When you use the Mexico Postal Service, it's like playing the lottery. Okay, that's all I have to say. But also, let me say, in Ajijic, they had a unique mail service. And for those of you that are in the Ajijic area, this mail service, it was almost right next door to Super Lake. And there you could go in there and send, you could send stuff, Federal Express, DHL, but also you could use the overnight United States Postal Service at this office of mail. And the way that worked is you would, and instead of paying, okay, if I send my taxes in, if I'm sending my taxes in, that would be like $40, $50 overnight. But if I use the United States Postal Service through that office in Mexico, it would only cost me like $7. And what they did was they would have a bunch of people using that service. And so they would put all of that United States Postal Service stuff in a box and send it to the United States border. And then they would process it in the United States. There you go. Richard McTire, in my history class, the only time they spoke about Mexico was in reference to the Alamo. And that is so amazing because there is so much culture and history and these ancient relics down here. And it's so amazing. It's so amazing that the Spaniards found these towns like Tzintzuntzan out in the middle of nowhere. And they found all the gold, all the silver, all these minerals. I mean, the Spanish, and this is back in the early 1500s, and the Mayflower hadn't even hit the United States, and they didn't tell us any of this history. That's a shame. That's a real shame. Dominique, in school in Southern Cal, I learned everything I knew about Mexico in my Spanish classes. Learned nothing about it in my history classes. Thank you very much, Dominique. And Eric Clark, thanks, Bill. That's 100 pesos. It's like $5. Thank you so much for contributing to the channel. Stephen, you may be able to mail or scan and fax your ballot back. What U.S. state and county will you be voting in, if you don't mind my asking? Okay, very good. And greetings, interesting show, great information, T. Very good. Thank you, Ann. The Postal Service in Mexico is very slow. And when he said very slow, he's being kind, okay? Shop in Ajijic supported FedEx and DHL mailing. Yes. Okay, about 20% of the U.S. was Mexico. Yeah, Mexico has an amazing history. There you go. Coach Stephen is telling you where he is. And let's get back to more videos. And for those of you that are just joining us, I'm going to continue sharing the story about my trip from Morelia in the upper left-hand corner to Pátzcuaro in the lower right-hand corner, and then I took a taxi to Pátzcuaro into Tzintzuntzan. And I was freaking out about the pronunciation of Tzintzuntzan, but the T is silent, and it was a wonderful trip. So we just went through Las Yácatas. So let's continue and see what else happened in the trip. So I went through the pyramids, walked back down the stairs, and this is a side street in Tzintzuntzan, just a side street. And there were in Tzintzuntzan, there were so many little shops. They didn't have any OXXOs. That's how small this town was, though it was kind of a big town, but they didn't have any OXXOs or 7-Elevens there. No big supermarkets. They had there were on the, you're going to see the main drag here shortly, and on the main drag filled with small family-owned shops, beef shops, fish shops, chicken shops. They had many copy centers where you could have papers copied, just shop artist stuff. And the people were very friendly, extremely friendly. And the women, I met a bunch of women there. These were, I'm going to say, these were some of the best looking women I'd ever seen in my entire life. And that changes through Mexico also. I don't want to say it, but I know that one famous tourist area in Mexico. I'm not going to say the name, but I did live there. The Mexican women were not that attractive to me, but in Tzintzuntzan, the women were freaking gorgeous. And as you go from city to city to city, you can see that the genetic makeup of the people, like who's been having sex with who, these women were just well bred. I just got to say it. And I think that Tzintzuntzan, I could live there. But I make YouTube videos. I'm at home most of the time or on the road. All I'm doing is editing video. And I bet that Tzintzuntzan is very affordable. I bet you could get a really nice apartment in Tzintzuntzan for about $400 a month. I bet if you paid $500 a month, you would get an out of this world apartment. But let's continue with the trip. I showed you the police car, the policía. And that's kind of weird because in Spanish, everything is male or feminine, like el baño, like the bathroom. That's a masculine word. It ends with an O, el baño. Or la luz, that's feminine. La luz, the lights, that's feminine. La cabeza, anything feminine is going to be la, anything masculine is going to be el. So la puerta, the door. La puerta starts with la, ends with an A. So what confuses me is, why is policía? No, it's policía. Why is police feminine? Almost all the cops are men, but it's feminine. So the Mexican language is kind of weird, but whatever. So now let's as soon as you get into town, if you go to the Yácatas, right, and you walk down this street right here, and you walk down this street right here, it's going to take you to the main drag, and you're going to see the main drag here in a second. And if you just keep walking right across the street, then you go into this place, which is the Monastery of San Francisco. The Monastery of San Francisco. It's beautiful. There are 2 large churches in here, a couple of giant courtyards, and it was built pretty much as soon as the Spanish showed up in Mexico, when they showed up in Tzintzuntzan in about 1522. And the Franciscan priests lived there, and they were converting the Mexican from the religion of the Purépecha, the Purépecha had many gods, a fire god. Oh, one thing that I didn't say about Yácatas is they kept a fire going there 24/7 fire on torches, because fire was a real big sign of their religion. So let's look at the churches. Look at these structures. These originated in 1522. The Franciscans were the priest here. This was a cool trip. Real mellow, great food on the main drag. There's the bell. I'm going to show you a real treat about the bell. This trip, I'm going to say this trip was well worth it. Okay, let's go into the church. That looks like a newer woodwork right there, but whenever you go to a town in Mexico, you got to go into the church and just take a peek at the artwork, the ceilings, what kind of statues do they have? What does the organ look like? Look at that work on the ceiling. Now we're going back. This is pretty much what the ceilings of churches look like throughout Mexico. And you have to think about the architecture there, going back to 1522. Like, who built that? That was the Spanish. And so I walk around town, and then so I leave that church, and right next door at the Monastery of San Francisco, which is what this is called, right next to the church we walked into, there's another church right next door. I don't quite understand that, but that's just the way it is, or the way it was. Whatever. Okay, now. Okay. Okay. So I'm walking from one church to the other church, and by accident, there was a door that left the whole monastery. You walk out, and this, what I'm going to show you now, is the real beauty of living in Mexico. What you're going to see right here. This was a side street outside of the monastery. Notice the sign says baños, that's bathrooms. But look at these little streets. And this street is about a half a block away from the main drag. And if you go inside these places, many of them are very modern with cable television and, 500 meg internet and stuff, that they may not look like much from the outside, but on the inside. And if you could live in a place like that and Uh, and look at the kids. They're looking joyful, filled with energy, with brand new clothes and bicycles. And I mean, wow, look at that. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you some real freaky deaky stuff now. If you're ready, if you're ready to see some freaky deaky stuff, get ready for this. And I want to know how many people have ever seen this. So I get off of that side street and I go. I'm in the inside the monastery. I'm gonna call it their plaza or park or in within the monastery walls. And I see this lady out there. You can see her right there with the green dress, and she's holding a rope. And I'm thinking, what's she doing? But then I look up, and the rope is attached to the bell at the top of the church. Okay, now I'm gonna show you this video. It has audio with it. So once I click this play button, I can't talk. You're only going to be able to hear the audio, and this clip lasts for 48 seconds. But I think you got to see it. You got to hear it. You got to see it. Here we go. No, that's not it. There's the lady. There's the lady, and here we go. There you go, folks. I have never, ever seen anything like that in my entire life. I've heard the bells ring. I've never seen anybody pulling a rope to make the bells ring. This is just the joys of living in Mexico. And this is the joy of making videos like these for you guys. Just get out on the road. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know, you might know the names of the places that you're going to. You've seen them on the map. You've read information from various sources through your research, but then you get there and you see the people, you see the things, you see the small streets, and you see the shops and the people smiling and the people helping you do what you want to do and get what you want to get. This is all the joys of living in Mexico. Let's go back to comments. Let's see what's going on in comments here. Okay, Stephen. Federal Express charges $120 to overnight. That is very expensive for me. You can get DHL. DHL's lately, DHL's, I'm going to say it's like $35, $40 overnight. Actually, overnight takes 3 days in Mexico. Overnight takes 3 days in Mexico. So they'll get it in 3 days for $30, $40. Yeah. It's not going to cost you more than $60. Ken Art. Hola, Ken Art. He's diving again. He's diving every weekend. Ken Art, great to see you in the house. And look who's here. None other than Katrina, the maker, and William Mustache Stoneman. We enjoyed the trip to Pátzcuaro and the boat trip over to Juanito. highly recommended trip. And I wanted to spend several days. I think I'm going to have to spend like 2 or 3 nights in Pátzcuaro, because there's just so much there. And Pablo, the taxi driver, told me about the boat trip to Juanitzo. So I'm definitely going to do that. I can't do it this week. I'm going to put up 2 videos this week, both very informative about my trip to Tzintzuntzan, and another video very informative about the Yácatas. I will put up both of those videos this week. And as most of you know, I try to share before I put up the video. I like to give you guys the information the week before. So this week, Mariana Gange is coming to interview me from Austin, Texas, with her photographer, videographer, and she's going to spend the day with me. And she's with the Mexico relocation guide people. They're coming down. I'll spend a day with them Thursday. They'll shoot a video of me, walk around my neighborhood. So I'll put up these 2 videos this week, do the interview with her, be very busy. Also, I interview Marco, who gave me all this information about Pátzcuaro, Tzintzuntzan. He gave me all this information. I interview him this Sunday. He's an amazing Mexican male living in Chicago, but his family is from Morelia. This Sunday, he is going to share with me all the information about his family, his experience with Mexico. So why am I saying this? Well, it's been busy down here. Very good. Okay. William Mustache Stone Man, I have learned there are some Spanish words you don't question. Just learn the words and accept them. Good tip. Good tip. Ms. Matthews, leaving us a message from Columbus, Ohio. Glad that you could make it and share some time with us this morning. And Ken Art, please. Okay. Please. Oh, we got a truck. There's a truck going by outside. We'll give this a break here. Okay, the truck is almost gone. Ken Art, thank you so much for contributing to the channel. Thank God bless you, Ken Art, for helping us to be able to take these trips. Yeah, thank you so much, Ken Art, for helping us take these trips. Thank you. I mean, and all of you, thank you guys for showing up. We have 82 people in the house. We have 48 likes. Some people have contributed so I can take more trips and I can share more information about the joys of living in Mexico. Thank you so much, Ken Art. And I actually know his real name. In fact, all of us, he told us his real name about 3 months ago. Let's give him what he wants. How do you spell Tzintzuntzan? Here you go. It's right here. It's on this police car. You can see it down there at the bottom under Policía Municipal. Tzintzuntzan. Tzintzuntzan. There you go. Tzintzuntzan. The T's are silent. There you go. Right there. Tzintzuntzan. Tzintzuntzan. I tell you what, man, that T was freaking me out. And I'm trying to say, well, how do you combine the T with the Z? There must be some magic to that like rolling your R's, something like that. I mean, whatever, but it ends up that the T is silent. So it is pretty cool once you get by that. Tzintzuntzan. Thank you, Dave James, Don Meredith. Hi, Bill. Just got the chance to visit Monterey last month. It was beautiful. I don't think I've ever been to Monterey. I'll have to put it on my list. Ernie Baca. Ernie Baca, he has a channel. Sometimes he visits us. It's this the No Bull, something like relocation to Mexico. No Bull. I think he's building or just built a house in Monterey. Richard, the only time I've seen one pulling a rope to ring a bell is in the Western movies. That's funny. Earthly color brown. Ola Bill Rainey here looks for. Oh, thanks for sharing positive sunshine. I try to do my job. Ray Garcia. Great Coloba. Great Coloba. Tell us what that means. A great interview expected with Mariana. Yes, I don't know when she's going to air that, but she's going to record it this Thursday. And look who's here, none other than Hawkins. Happy Saturday to you too, Hawkins, and Cali State job coach. Errands to run. We'll watch the rest. Non-live. Adios, amigos. Adios for you, Coach. Thanks for joining us and sharing your love and joy. We still have a few more clips here. Let's see. We have a few. Here we go. Right down here. Okay. So I walked around the Monastery San Francisco, and I'm going to say that this trip, if you're in Morelia, you can do this trip. You can. Yeah. I mean, I left my apartment here in Morelia at 8:30 in the morning, went to the bus station. It was an hour trip to get to Tzintzuntzan. No, it was an hour trip to get to Pátzcuaro, and then a 30-minute ride to Tzintzuntzan. And then I walked around, shot my video, shot the pyramids video, went into the Monastery of San Francisco, walked around town a bit more, took the bus back. I was home at 3:00 in the afternoon. So it's a great day trip and fairly, and it's pretty inexpensive. If you do it right, round trip on the bus is going to cost you like $7. Round trip on the bus. If you do the taxi right, that's going to cost you another $3. So you're talking like round trip, you're talking about $10. It cost me more than that. And then to go into the museum to see the pyramids, that was 100 pesos or $5, but it's a day trip. And I saw signs for a hotel in Tzintzuntzan, spend the night, eat some really nice food. Yeah, there you go. Let's see what's happening in comments. Okay, here we go. Axel Foley. Bill, is there a place, town, historical site, and so on you always wanted to visit but never? Yeah, I definitely want to go. I definitely want to go to Tulum. I want to go to Tulum and see those sites. I haven't been to Chichen Itza in about 40 years. I want to go back there. I want to go to Mexico City and see the pyramids in Mexico City. I've been in and out of Mexico City, but I've never seen the pyramids there. But Tulum is very high on my list. And again, I must say, why is it when I was in elementary school, middle school, high school, I never heard about these ancient civilizations of fabulous civilizations in Mexico? Why was I never exposed to this? P Lady, saludos, Bill. Glad to be here. Happy to see you in the house with your beautiful smile there. And Dominique. Tzintzuntzan sounds like it could be a Japanese word because of the TZ followed by a vowel. The T is not silent, however. Yeah, well, thank you for that tip. But I tell you what, all the Mexican people that said the word, it really sounded like the T was silent. And these are the Mexicans that live there. And Char Williams, thank you so much for contributing to the channel so that I can pay my rent, take trips, pay for my bus rides, pay to get in to see the pyramids, and maybe grab a taco and all of that. As always, your info is excellent, informative, and entertaining. Char Williams, God bless you. Thank you so much. La Dolce Vita. And now you can make the Mayan train while you're down in Tulum. And that area, yes, there's so much. Mexico is so rich. And I do get a lot of junk mail in comments. People comment on my videos. And I got a comment this week. And the person that left the comment, they said, the person that left the comment says, oh, I've never been to Mexico. I don't know if I want to go. I've never been there, but I just have a bad vibe about Mexico. And I sent him a message that just said, well, enjoy wherever you live. And I'm sure he doesn't watch me when I go live. So I'm going to tell you the message that I wanted to send him. The message I wanted to send him was, go F yourself, you dumb F. How do you like that? You dumb, ignorant, non-informed fool. Yeah, I mean, you're so ignorant and uninformed. Just stay the heck wherever you are now and don't leave, and just live around the uninformed, ignorant people from which you picked up that bad vibe. I didn't send him that message, but but that's what I wanted to say. Okay, how far is Tulum from you? Okay, let's just use modern technology. How about if we use oh yes, present, share screen, click this button. Let's use modern technology to find out how close or how far we are from Tulum. Okay. Okay. Okie dokie. Tampico. Let's type in Tulum. There you go. No. This how far are you? Yeah, I spelled that right. Okay. Okay. Here we go. Oh, I don't know if I'm in the right place. I don't know. I don't even know if I'm in. No. Is that really? I don't think that's right. I thought Tulum. Wow. Really? That can't be right. That can't be right, because I thought that Tulum was closer to Veracruz. I thought that it would be more on the coast, like way over here. Here we go. It's over here. I know. I think it's like over here near more like Cozumel. And William Mustache Stoneman, I know you have visited there, so if you can help us. But I'm thinking from my place to the coast in the Yucatan. I don't know. I think that's going to be quite a hike. but I can fly there. That's the kind of trip that I would fly to. I could probably fly there in a couple of hours. Okay, so let's get back. Let's get back to what people are talking about. And we got Jamie, who has contributed $5 Canadian to the channel. And with the value of the Canadian dollar being so high now, that's a lot of money. It's like $300. Jamie, thank you so much for contributing to the channel so that we can travel and pay the rent. Thank you so much, Dominique. I meant in Japanese, the T in TZ is not silenced. Thank you very much for that update. And the P lady, thank you so much, you wonderful soul, for donating to the channel. Robert, it's close to Cancun. Thank you so much. Tulum is close to Cancun. I thought so. So Robert, I'm thinking I would just fly. And I think I just read recently that Tulum has just opened an international airport, or they're building an international airport. But that's the kind of trip I would fly. And I might pay, if I took the bus, I could probably get there for $32. But if I fly, I might pay $200. But I'll get there in like 2 hours. So in the future, if a trip is more than 5 hours, I'm putting my limit at 5 hours on a bus. So I still have a few more video clips. Okay, we had the lady ringing the bell. Here we go. Okay, here is some more side street videos of Tzintzuntzan. Tzintzuntzan side streets. Yeah, and look at how clean the streets are. It looks like you could eat spaghetti and meatballs and have your garlic bread right down there in the street. Look at how clean it is. And the area is surrounded by mountains. And then last week, I think I was talking a little politics last week, and I talked about how people all over the world actually love the American dream. And last week I shared with you that wherever I go in Mexico, people love the United States. And everywhere I go, people have NYC baseball caps, New York City sweatshirts. I told you that many people have Abercrombie sweatshirts, the Gap sweatshirts. So I'm walking around in Tzintzuntzan, and you're going to see this kid here. The Gap. That is a Les Wexner company, originated in my hometown, Columbus, Ohio. The Gap, Old Navy, all that is Columbus, Ohio. And there's a kid, and this guy, if you look under all that stuff he's carrying around, you would have seen it said The Gap from Columbus, Ohio on his hat. But here's what it looks like. Now you got to check this out. Okay, so again, and I don't want to bore you, but I'd shot all the video that I wanted to shoot. Oh my God. So now I'm in Tzintzuntzan, and it's time to go home. So the thing is, now I have to get back to the place where the bus dropped me off in Pátzcuaro. I have to get back to the place where the bus dropped me off in Pátzcuaro. Okay? Because if I can get there, then I can get the bus back to Morelia. Okay? So it's time to go. So it's time to go. I know it's time to go. I know that I've got to get a combi from Tzintzuntzan back to Pátzcuaro. And I've never done it before. So I was asking these pretty girls at these shops, well, how do I do that? And they said, just go out to the street and just put your arm up and wave, and the combis, the vans will stop for you. So I'm waiting on the street, and this taxi driver goes by, and he has 3 people in his back seat, and he starts waving at me, pointing like towards Pátzcuaro. Okay. And I said, well, okay. So I go up to his window, and he says, where are you going? I said, I'm going to Pátzcuaro. Ends up the 3 people in his back seat were going there. But the front seat was open. He said, come on. I said, well, how many pesos? ¿Cuántos pesos es este? He says, 30 pesos. That's like $1.50 to go a half an hour in a taxi with 3 other people. So I got in 30 pesos for a half an hour taxi ride. It was and I told him I need to go to the place so I can get the bus from Pátzcuaro to Morelia. All of this is in Spanish. And he says, okay, I'll take you there. So I get in his taxi. We ride through the country for a half an hour. And then he pulls the taxi over. We're in Pátzcuaro, and he says, there's your bus right there. He took me right to the bus. I mean, he took me directly to the bus. And here is the bus right here. He dropped, and there is my bus. Occidente, whatever, right? And this was weird too, because the guy there with the pencil behind his ears, he just collects the money. He tells you how much, and this bus comes every 20 minutes from Pátzcuaro to Morelia. You can see that big bag of money he has there. You just give him 70 pesos, which is $3.50, and you get on the bus. And then I was on my way back to Morelia, and I tell you what, what was really freaking me out was my cell phone. Here's what was really freaking me out, because I've been taking video all day, and I was down to like no power on my phone. And if I had no power on my phone when I got to Morelia, then I couldn't order a Didi. I guess I could order a taxi, but taxis are way more expensive than Didi. But fortunately, I always carry my phone charger with me. So I just plugged. Once I got in the taxi in Tzintzuntzan, I just plugged in my charger to my phone. And by the time I got to Pátzcuaro, my phone was fully charged. And by the time I got to Morelia, it was fully charged, so I could order a Didi and go back home. And I tell you what, when I got home that night, well, it was 3:30 in the afternoon. That's when the Democratic National Convention was starting. And so I turned that on, and I started watching it. And when I first started watching it, I couldn't understand what the speakers were talking about. I mean, the words that they were saying weren't making sense to me. And I had to ask myself, well, what language are they speaking? And I had to tell myself, oh, this is English. This is English. I had been speaking Spanish all day long, asking questions, getting information. Where's this? Where's that? What is this? What is that? And people have been speaking to me. And I guess all I can do is thank my parents for getting me a good education. My parents pretty much forced me to get straight A's through school. As long as I got straight A's through school, I could do anything I wanted to. I mean, I had to clean the house. That was my job. I had a job at the grocery store. But as long as I got straight A's, I was a free man. I could go out to bars. When I was like 16, I'd go out to bars because we had fake IDs. When I was in high school, I had a fake ID that I was 21 years old. That's a whole story. All my friends in high school, because the kid, the son of the director of automobiles in Ohio, went to our high school. So he could get blank driver's license. And this is back when driver's licenses were paper. And so they weren't plasticized. They didn't have a little, they didn't have your picture. So he could get blank driver's license and he would sell them to us. And then you just put in your name, your social security number, your age. So we were all 21 partying at the Ohio State University. So as long as I got straight A's, my parents were cool. That's how I got into Dartmouth College, studied Spanish. My sister went to Smith College. She got straight A's. When she was in college at Smith, she lived in a dorm. And the young lady that was in the dorm room next to her was Yoki King. This is at Smith College. And Yoki King was the daughter of a person maybe you've heard of. Her father, Yoki King's father, was Martin Luther King. So all I'm saying is thank God that my parents made us get straight A's and get educated. That's what helped me learn Spanish. I got to thank my parents for that. And that's how important education is. That's how important education is. Though Donald Trump wants to get rid of the Department of Education, which is totally foolish. I graduated from a Catholic high school, but my first year in high school was in a public school, and in grades kindergarten through ninth grade, I was in public school. And so I left public school in 1971. I grew up in a rural area, and I must say that even my stupid, poor Appalachian friends could read and write. I mean, even my economically challenged Appalachian friends in my country community could read and write. I don't know what's going on now, but anyway, all I want to say is, on this trip, on so many trips that I've taken, there have been so many expats there, places like Puerto Vallarta, Mazatlan, Malake, Ajijic, Chapala, and you get to places like that, and there are a lot of Mexicans that speak English. But on this trip was unique because in Tzintzuntzan and Pátzcuaro, I didn't run into anybody that spoke English. But let me say this. All I can say is a tip. And the tip is with me, I had this piece of paper right here. And you can see the places that I wanted to go. Tzintzuntzan. You can see, I'm looking through the back of this piece of paper. You can see Yácatas. So I've got this piece of paper on this clipboard in my backpack. So if I couldn't remember the word, if I didn't know how to say the word, all I had to do is pull this, and I could And all you have to do is know how to say, can you help me, please? And that's just a few words. It's like, puedes ayúdame? Puedes ayúdame? And then I always have a pen with me and give them a blank sheet of paper. And they can draw me a map or something. It's almost like being in a different country. It's like if you don't know the language, many times you have to play charades. But whatever. But I had all the places written down, and everything went well. So anyway, the bus trip was good. We got back to Morelia. I got a taxi back to my apartment, and I took a wonderful bus ride home. And I tell you what, this bus ride is an hour long, and it was phenomenal. And the one thing about the Morelia area right now is so green. It's been raining every day. It rained all day yesterday, but it's been raining every night. But the mountains and the greenery of the trees, but the houses and the cows and the small towns, I mean, it was wonderful. And now that I'm settled in, I forgot what it was like to travel. I forgot what it was like to go into the unknown. I forgot what it was like to trust strangers and allow them to share their love with me. I forgot what it was like to see strangers smiling at me and sharing love with me in a joyous way. I forgot all of that. But now that I'm settled in, and I was getting what is the word? I was getting lazy. I was getting lazy because my apartment had become very comfortable for me. It was like, why would you want to travel? Why would you want to get on the road? Because being on the road is fabulous. Walking into the unknown is fabulous. Meeting new people is wonderful. And learning a new language and practicing with whatever Spanish you have, it's wonderful, especially when people help you out. And my taxi driver, Pablo, we spoke Spanish for a half an hour. He has 3 children. They're all adults. He lives in Pátzcuaro. He told me all about the city, how his business was. Wow, this was a wonderful experience. And this year, for the rest of this year, my plan is to share many more wonderful experiences with you like this. Let's go back to comments. Let's see what people are talking about in here. I've been talking way too much. Okay. Ray Garcia. I flew to Cancun, but Tulum now has a new airport 2 hours away, and train Maya is in Cancun, 2 pyramids or Merida areas. Thank you very much for that information, Ray Garcia. Robert, December 2023, that airport is now open. Thank you very much, Robert. And William Stoneman, Morelia, Tulum is a 24-hour car bus trip. Yeah, I'm definitely going to fly. I'm not 24 hours on the bus unless you stop along the way and get off every 5 hours and shoot some video. I'm not doing it. Thank you very much, William. Dominique, Tzintzuntzan looks like my kind of city, small, semi-rural, and with lots of history and old architecture. Love how clean it is, too. Thanks for sharing. Happy to be of service. I will be putting out videos on Yácatas and Tzintzuntzan this week. They will have more videos from both of those locations and a lot more information. And look who's back in the house, Dr. John. Late check-in from sunny New Jersey. Glad that the sun is shining on you today. Axel Foley, thank you, Axel Foley. Axel Foley, this week, it must have been Wednesday. This week, I was in a taxi. Actually, it was DD. It was a DD taxi. And sometimes the taxi drivers just want to talk and ask questions. Where are you from? What are you doing here? Where you live? You have kids? You got a wife? All that. I mean, they just ask you questions. And a lot of the taxi drivers that talk to you know some English. But anyway, I had a taxi driver this week. His name was Axel. His name was Axel. And I said, do you know, what's his name? Oh, do you know? I said, do you know Axel Foley? He said, no. Do you know Eddie Murphy? Do you know Eddie Murphy? He said, no. Have you seen Beverly Hills Cop? I mean, if your name is Axel, I don't care what country do you live in, you got to see Beverly Hills Cop. I'm just saying. But anyway, Axel Foley, dude, grab a cold cerveza on me. Thank you for getting up every Saturday and sharing your experiences and the joys of living in Mexico. Axel Foley, thank you so much for joining us again, as you have been doing for almost 3 years now. And thanks for sharing some funding for my cerveza. Thank you so much. Robert, planning my next move from Puerto Penasco, Sonora to Guadalajara. Very good. That's very interesting. To Guadalajara. I lived in Guadalajara for 3 years. I did enjoy it. And God bless you and good luck with your planning and your landing. Okay, looking forward to your travel videos. Thank you so much, Dominique. I'll be putting up these videos this week. I think I'm just going to take videos of Mariana taking videos of me for the Saturday broadcast. This week's going to be very busy editing these videos. And then she comes to visit. I'm going to have to take Wednesday just to clean my apartment really good so she doesn't think I'm a slob. She's going to show up. We're going to go to coffee at a place 2 blocks from here. I'm going to walk her and her cameraman around my neighborhood. We're going to go to lunch at a Mexican buffet. And they're going to be with me for about 4 hours. I think I'm going to shoot them for video for next Saturday broadcast. So anyway, whatever. But thank you all. So, but after she leaves and after next Saturday, then it's time for serious travel. It's time to get back to serious travel. And now that I'm in the middle of Mexico, everything is within range. And now that people are contributing to the channel, we're picking up more subscribers. Now I can take the bus. There are a ton of places that I can take the bus to and from Morelia, and the bus is very affordable. Get a hotel for $27 a night somewhere. That's very affordable. But now that you guys are contributing to the channel, then airfare to Tulum, to all of these wonderful places. Mexico is so rich. So throughout, I'm hoping now that I'm settled here, now it's just time to make videos and edit videos, put them up and go live and help share the joys of living in Mexico. Okay, now. Okay, Dominique, Ms. Matthews, enjoy your week. You enjoy your week. Also, go Bucks. I'm getting ready to wind down here. I want to thank everyone for joining us this morning. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed these videos. I hope you guys enjoyed this week's broadcast. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming. Thank you for sharing your enthusiasm. Thank you for clicking the like button. Thanks for sharing some dollarinis, pesos. For what it's worth, the value of the peso is going down again. This morning it was down to like $19.11. So everything. So as of today, my rent is at like $467 a month. I love my apartment. I love the location. I can walk to shops within 3 blocks where I can get fresh poultry, fresh fish, fresh meat, fresh bread. I can go to a superstore, which I'm going to. But life is grand. The weather is perfect. Right now, it's about 68, 69 degrees. It's not raining. The sun is out. Life is grand. So I'm getting ready to get out of here. I want to thank everyone. I'm Bill the Geek. I'm Bill the Geek, broadcasting live from Morelia, Mexico. This is the Bill Dallas Lewis channel. And we make videos about the joys of living in Mexico. If you would like to contribute to the channel and you're watching the replay, there's a donate button in the description below. So all I can do is share my love with you. And with that, all I can say is adios. And adding to that, I'll just say hasta luego. And finally, I will say que te vaya bien todos. Adios, amigos. Love you all. See you next Saturday.